All right, I'm here with Mark Weir from Sony, and we are looking at some of the newest products that they have here, specifically what we've got on this camera right here. Now, this is an A7 III, or an A7R3 rather, and that's been out for a while, but still one of your better sellers and one of the flagship cameras of the Sony full-frame mirrorless line. But this lens is brand new, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not out yet, right?
Actually, the 24 to f1.4 with G-Master, which is this lens, Nick, this will be coming at the end of this month. So just about 2 weeks, well, actually about a week, a few days, and this will be hitting the market.
Okay, so we're an f1.4, and this is a G-Master lens, so you're going to have your top-level optics in there. You're going to get some brilliant resolution coming out of this lens, so it pairs perfectly with the A7R3. Now, one thing that's really impressive about this lens is the size of it. It's so small for a 1.4 lens. I mean, you got a lot of glass and really great optics in that really small body.
Yes, Nick. The 24 f1.4 is our 8th G-Master lens. It's of wide aperture prime, which a lot of people have been asking for. And one of the things that we've done with this lens is we've leveraged mirrorless lens technology. In a mirrorless camera, the flange back, the lens to sensor distance, is much, much shorter than it is in an SLR because there's no mirror in the way. So you can get under 20 millimeters of distance from the lens mount itself to the image sensor. In wide-angle lenses, this really helps you make the lens more compact and lighter. It's a big advantage. It's the way rangefinder lenses were designed in the 50s before the advent of digital SLRs and film SLRs as well. Also in this lens, we use our proprietary glass molding technology to develop extreme aspheric lens elements. And we can make an optical design in less space with higher performance than most any other lens design. One of the special parts of this lens is the extreme aspheric element as the front element here. And this is particularly useful for astrophotography because it minimizes or almost eliminates sagittal flare, which is very difficult in a wide-angle lens. The other thing we do in this lens is we use linear focus actuators. The focusing speed of cameras like our A7 III and A7R III can perform many, many focus movements per second. The camera itself can shoot at 10 frames per second, but even if you shot one frame, you want it to be perfectly in focus all the time. You want like 100% hit rate. And with fast-moving subjects, by moving the focus group linearly instead of rotationally, we can get a focusing speed that would be very, very difficult to achieve with a conventional lens. So the combination of optical performance, small size, low weight particularly, and the speed of autofocus on this lens is really special.
Yeah, I was just trying out that lens on these boxers that you guys have set up back here, and like you said, the autofocus speed is phenomenal. I'm sure for landscape photographers, one thing they'll appreciate is the lack of distortion. You said it had the spherical elements in there, and not only the size, but the lack of distortion. It makes this a really good lens for photographing nature, for photographing just walking down the street. If you were to mount this onto an APS-C camera, because you've got your A6300 and A6500, that would work well for a street photography lens as well.
Yeah, this would make essentially a 36 millimeter f1.4 for an APS-C camera. And one of the great parts about our E-mount is all of our E-mount lenses will work perfectly with our full-frame cameras and our APS-C cameras, and they'll even work with our interchangeable lens motion picture cameras using the E-mount. And here at PhotoPlus, we're showing our Venice, we're showing our FS5 and FS7, and they're just as much at home with these lenses as our still cameras. So the wide range of applicability, the versatility of these lenses, together with what these cameras can do, is really aiding creators in getting shots or motion picture that they would not be able to get any other way. So we're really happy with the 24 f1.4 and the other lenses that we've recently introduced, the 400 f2.8 for instance, from earlier in the year. Their speed and accuracy and sharpness across the frame is really helping a lot. And we think it is really showing people what can be done with mirrorless cameras that are designed for action.
Now, one of the cameras that many people would want to pair that with is the A7 III. Are we going to have enough of those for the holiday season? Because that's a very popular camera.
A7 III is a very popular camera for sure, and we're doing our best to keep up with demand. But again, as with any really well-accepted product, sometimes we fall a little short, but we'll catch up, don't worry.
All right, so hopefully we will have those in stock coming up to the holiday season at Cameta Camera.